Lean mass hyperresponders don't have to worry about LDL cholesterol and ApoB. The LMHR study got a lot of attention. These folks in the LMHR, or lean mass hyperresponder, they call it a phenotype, all their blood markers are healthy, except they have very high LDL cholesterol. I believe to be included, they have to be above 150. So they were looking at this plaque progression and attempting to associate it with ApoB or LDL cholesterol, and what they saw was there was really no association, and their conclusion was that plaque begets more plaque. It's important to point out the people who did this study really beat their chest pretty hard about it. They're attempting to say that because of their study, in this particular population, you don't really need to worry about it. This was registered at clinicaltrials.gov. And what's nice about going to clinicaltrials.gov is you can see what the pre-specified primary endpoints were. The primary endpoint was the percent change in non-calcified plaque volume. They did not report that number. In fact, all they said was most people had stable plaque. Finally, the lead author on Twitter said, okay, if you must know, it was 18 millimeters as a median. He's still not saying what the average increase was, which leads me to believe that the mean was probably higher than 18, because if it wasn't, they would have told you that number. Now, the study's own registered protocol said they expected an increase of 7 millimeters in plaque. They got an 18.8 millimeter increase. They also looked at something called PAV, which is percent atheroma volume. Their total plaque volume in 1 year went up by 50%. How does LMHR plaque progression stack up against other studies? I'm going to give a shout out to Brad Stansfield because he covered this. In the Paradigm cohort, they were looking at people with and without metabolic syndrome. They had a progression of 17.8 millimeters in 3.2 years. So a similar amount of progression in a third the time in LMHR. 3 times the rate of non-calcified plaque growth. 3 times in people who are quote unquote healthy compared to people who are metabolically unhealthy. It is very clear that LDL and ApoB are independent risk factors for cardiovascular disease. If you are in this phenotype where all your other blood markers are healthy, but your LDL and ApoB are high, are you healthier and at lower risk for cardiovascular disease than somebody who has high LDL and also high triglycerides, low HDL, poor insulin sensitivity? Yes, you're better off than them, but you are not better off than somebody with low LDL and also other healthy blood markers.